Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Architectural Review Board meeting for the town of Eastchester for February 3rd, 2022. If you would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Margaret, if you could please the roll call.
Sure. Laura Raffiani.
Present.
Jennifer Nemisek.
Here.
Silvio Luca.
Here.
Enda McIntyre is running a little late because of traffic issues, and Carlos Garcia-Bo cannot make it this evening.
Okay. So tonight we have three new business applicants. First up on the agenda is applicant number 21-32 for the address of 95A Tuckahoe Avenue.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board. Louis Campana, architect, on behalf of the applicant. 95A Tuckahoe Avenue is a 22,600 square foot lot, which is situated in the R6 zone. It sits at the bottom of Tuckahoe Avenue, behind a home which fronts the street. So this lot it's a flag lot. We actually were just in front of the zoning board a few weeks ago, where they granted us relief from the minimum lot frontage. What we're proposing to do is remove the existing house from the foundation and build on top of that existing foundation along with additional footprint. Here we could see to the east side a substantial increase in footprint. This will consist of a garage underneath the first floor. The first floor will consist of an open floor plan concept with kitchen, dining area, and family room. To the west side, we have a small addition for a front portico, and then another addition to the southwest side here, just to create space for two bedrooms, one on the first and one on the second floor. To the rear of the house, we have staggered masonry patios that takes the same shape as the back side of the house. And we have a series of steps, a retaining wall with more masonry steps, down to a 20 by 40 pool. If you've seen the site, you realize that it does drop off quite drastically from the west side down to the east side. So in order to make this a usable site and incorporate the pool, we have to incorporate a series of retaining walls. So we have two retaining walls here, approximately 4 feet apart, which would terrace down to an elevation of 172.5. So currently, this is 178 on the western side here. So we're going to ease that transition with retaining walls, and then beyond the pool to the east side, we have another short retaining wall. And the purpose of that, or for that, is so that we don't grade up to the property line. On the south side of the dwelling, we have another retaining wall here, which allows the driveway to sort of go down and under the house, which is how it's currently being used. On the west side here, now, when you enter the house on grade, but you don't enter onto the first level of the house. So when you go in, there's a series of steps to get you to the main level. So instead of making that transition inside, we're creating planters and steps outside. So this way, when you enter the house, you enter on the main level. Now, in terms of the exterior, hold on one second. What we've done here is we've approached this design with a minimalistic aesthetic, and we've wanted to have contrast in the material, color, and texture create or breathe life into this house. So for the most part, the existing portion or footprint of the house is going to be stucco. And the stucco is going to be California stucco in a limestone color. All of the trim components, the rakes, the eaves, the lintels, and the subsill. That'll be boral, and that'll be painted Farrow-Ball off black. We have light-coated copper standing seam roof over the front portico, and black aluminum glass front door. Here are the retaining walls that you see creating the planters up front. That would be a fieldstone veneer. We have 2-inch thermal treads with the flame square edge. And all the flat work on the porches will be thermal bluestone as well. In the foreground here, which you also see here, this is the addition off of the rear of the house. This is going to be clad in a boral, which will also be painted Farrow-Ball off black. We have black clad aluminum windows and doors. It does say Marvin on the drawings there, but we're going to end up doing Lincoln, I believe. Just for...
It said Lincoln on the,
Did it say Lincoln?
at that
On
last...
material list.
Yeah.
Off of the master bedroom on the second floor, we have a cantilever terrace with a decorative brackets, I should say, that connect back to the first floor wall, and stainless steel cable rail with painted newel post and top rail. The roof is going to be timberline charcoal. And the gutters and leaders, which are not shown on the elevations, that's going to be a galvanized steel. I believe the lighting fixtures are also in that package that I gave you as well today. And those are dispersed around the house. We have 2 on the columns out front at the portico, and then we have a series of lights flanking the doors on the first floor at the back porch. This is the west side. Bear with me again 1 second. Sorry, this is the east side up top. Okay, and you can see that we have the retaining wall that wraps around to sort of create I wouldn't say a pedestal, but it grounds the building, reducing its height from the neighbor. And here we have the garage door, which would be aluminum with frosted glass panels. Here are the materials that I was just discussing, just so I guess we could show the public. This is the nickel gap siding, the boral nickel gap siding here, which will be painted Farrow-Ball off black. Here's the asphalt roofing, charcoal, lead-coated copper over the front entrance. This is actually a photograph from the Lincoln website of the windows that we're going to be using. Galvanized steel gutters and leaders. Example of the garage door, the fieldstone retaining wall, the thermal bluestone, and then the light fixtures. Up on top was an inspiration photo that we had from the beginning of the project. And this is an example of the overall appearance that we're looking for. And you can see the simplicity. I think it gives the house a bold effect, a bold look. And that's where we're planning on going with the house. I do have renderings here, which you guys have. This just shows the back of the house, which is where the majority of their time will be spent. You can see the contrast between the addition on the east side as opposed to, or juxtaposed next to, the stucco mass of the house at the front. A series of retaining walls. And then you can see how we have retaining walls and the steps that go through the retaining wall up to that second tier and then up to the patios in the back. So this is in some way a sideways house because of how the existing foundation is situated. So we're going to be entering the house on the east side. So this is the view as you come down the driveway. You'd pass a series of planters, and then the driveway will go down and under the house to the back. Here's another view of the front, just to give you a broader spectrum of the plantings and planting beds that we have that sort of are a way of grounding the house. And Dan Sherman, the landscape architect, unfortunately couldn't be here this evening. He had a scheduling conflict, but he chose not to go too formal with this, but not too informal. And he paid close attention to how the material, the planting material, how it would flower and stagger throughout the seasons.
I had a question about the lead-coated copper. Is that still allowed in New York? 'Cause I,
Jay,
I have,
do you know about that?
okay. Okay. I know someone who built a house a few years ago in New Jersey, and they wouldn't allow it anymore. They had to use
Really?
zinc. I don't know. I thought that was like a all-over thing when I heard
it
it.
could be, I haven't come across it, but if that's the case, we'd probably end up doing something along the lines of a zinc-coated.
Okay.
Environmentally,
It looks
it's
nice.
safer.
Either one, actually, look
Yeah.
nice. They have that same kind of a,
They patina well, too, throughout the years.
for sure, you're going to need to put the gutters and leaders in, on the presentation for the planning board,
Of course.
because it's part of the whole thing. You really need to show where they will be. It's nice when they don't have them, but it's kind of,
Well, if you look at this photo, I mean, it actually
Also-
looks great in the photo, the inspiration photo that you see at the top of that page. It
Right.
actually adds a bit of depth to it, and I think complements the architecture.
kind of creates a frame almost.
Exactly, yeah.
And then the nickel gap siding, is that actually made out of nickel? Is that?
No, it's boral, boral, people have many different pronunciations for it. It's a cementitious synthetic material. So it's a substitute for wood, doesn't rot, doesn't shrink. But the reason why I'm using boral as opposed to PVC is because the boral material has a texture to it that holds the paint, the finish, better than the slick surface of a white PVC material.
More like a hardy plank-ish?
Yes, you can call it that. It's actually, I would say, a good substitution for hardy. You can go either way on that, but yes.
Good
Sorry I'm
evening.
late.
Joining us under McIntyre, present.
Yes, I'll add him to the list.
And we're
Yeah.
working on
Uh-huh.
the first,
And
Should we start over?
not have a set, so maybe he can look at with you.
I do.
Enter his set. Oh, no, these were handed out at the
Oh,
meeting.
okay, very nice, yeah.
we have
Yeah,
not
you can
set
have
it, this is fine. Very good. Okay, so any questions or comments from the board so far, or do you want me to open it up for the public?
Questions?
Then I'd like to make a motion to open application 21-32 for a public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty, is there anyone here from the town, neighborhood, whatever, that would like to comment or have any questions? I guess not. Then we can close the public hearing. I'd like to make a motion to close public hearing for application 21-32.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, all righty. So then, there really were not a lot of comments or questions. I just had asked about whether or not the lead-coated copper is still okay in New York. Is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
We will
The
check that
question
out.
of
I
the
will put that in
evening.
my notes and
Okay.
confirm
But-
with
Yeah,
Louis.
there's also a couple things that I want to mention that I need to add to the drawings. Number one is the gutters, like you said.
Okay.
But also, we're working on the pool fence right now and getting a precise
Okay, because
location
that's
for that.
necessary,
Yeah, that's
yes.
necessary because of the pool, but
Well, that, obviously
Right.
for building permit review.
yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
If you could add the gutters and the lights to the front of the house, wherever you're going to put them, if you're going to put them
On the
house.
renderings?
On the
Yes.
The
renderings.
renderings, okay.
On the plans, on the rendering?
Well, I would do it, yeah, I would do it on the elevations as well.
Yes.
Alrighty. Any other?
I just have one question when I looked at the plans. What's the rear yard setback? I guess on the right-hand side?
On the right-hand side?
Property line?
At the east, I guess?
Yes, the east side. So the minimum is a 10-foot setback,
10 foot,
yes.
okay.
I believe we're situated at about 12 feet towards the back rear.
And is there a property or home on the other side of that chain link fence?
It's the rear yard of a house that I believe is on Joan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like a little tight to me, but,
Yeah, those lots are really deep.
yeah, no, they're
Really
deep.
Well, and that setback is an existing setback, right? You're on that's the existing foundation that you're building on,
Well,
that
the-
side yard.
This highlighted
That's
portion
new.
here, that's a new
That's the
addition.
addition,
yeah.
okay.
That's new.
Oh, yeah, where it says two-story addition, yeah.
That's very nice. The renderings are
Yeah, they're nice.
really, really nice.
And then above the windows, is that bluestone or is that the nickel?
So what's a little deceiving about the rendering is that the projection of that, it's boral. The material
Okay.
will be boral painted off black. But that's going to be a 5/4 to 1.5 inch material, and the stucco is going to be 3/4. So there's only going to be about a 1/2 inch projection from the stucco veneer. What you see
But I
there
think
looks
the
more like a
color also makes it look, you get that,
stonish.
So you
yes.
said it's what?
about a 1/2 inch.
No, right, but what is it made out of?
Boral, boral.
Okay.
It's,
It's,
this is what they're using on the, over
It's-
here, and then that's
Yeah.
the same thing.
it's a synthetic material, much like hardy, but
Right.
it's more of a trim material than it is
Right,
a
like an
siding.
AZAC or something like that?
Yes, but the reason, and I was mentioning this before you entered, the reasoning for choosing boral is because the texture that it has, it holds the dark paint, whereas an AZAC or PVC material has a slicker surface and is very
Yeah.
difficult to hold that.
Yeah, it's very nice. Okay.
Alrighty, I think we're all
Do you want me-
set. Yes,
So you're going to refer to the planning board with a recommendation to show the gutters and leaders on the renderings and elevations, add light fixtures to the renderings and elevations. You're going to add the pool fence, and we're going to clarify if lead-coated copper is allowed in New York State.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you for your time.
all
Good evening.
right. So I'd like to make a motion to move application 21-32 along to the planning board with the recommendation of approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you very much for your presentation. And next up on our agenda tonight is application 22-03 for Leeway Country Club. Good evening.
My name is Stephen Lazar, president of the Leeway Golf Club. I was called into active duty.
Oh, I'm sorry, can you speak into the microphone so that it's right behind, by the
You
podium
can pull it
there?
off if
Yes.
you need it, but yeah.
We have a stenographer that uses that for our transcripts.
Good evening. My name is Steve Lazar, president of Leeway Golf Club. I'm here representing Leeway tonight. I was called into active duty about 15 minutes ago as my architect is home with COVID and thought there was a Zoom link for the presentation and realized there was not. I am somewhat familiar with the plans. I am an engineer by trade, and I will do my best to represent Leeway if there are any questions.
I'm going to put the drawings up so
That'd be
that they
great.
can be on the video.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience. My And I could talk about the project if you'd like, and
Yeah, I
just to
think
give
you
you an
need to
idea of
kind
the
of
scope of the
present.
project. So this is an existing tennis court area that we're looking to, there's a existing retaining wall on this side of the tennis courts. It's a natural stone dry retaining wall. We want to replace it with a new retaining wall to match the existing retaining walls that run along the whole perimeter here. And that will extend, that will level off this top patio and just make for a nicer area here. And then continue, there's some natural berms here, so we want to continue to wall down here along the natural berms. There's also a natural dry retaining wall here that's kind of partially collapsed and old, and there's a stream behind it. So while we're doing the retaining wall, I said, let's replace all the retaining walls, put the new stone, reinforce natural, match everything. And that'll create a much nicer look area for the existing tennis area that's existing. That is basically the whole project. In addition to that, we are going to add a set of stairs here from the upper terrace down to the tennis area, which will allow members to access the tennis area from the main clubhouse while the pool is closed. So that's really the gist of the project. That's the whole project. I'm here to answer any questions.
And one thing I'd like to say is typically these kind of site plan improvements for just repairing and replacing or adding some retaining walls and sidewalks and stairs would not require ARB and planning board approval, except for our law explicitly says any retaining wall over 6 feet high does require ARB and planning board approval. So portions of the walls on the site are over 6 feet, which is why
Yeah,
they're
this wall
here.
here is the only portion that's above more than 6 feet, correct?
So I know you mentioned before natural stone, but I see the anchor block on this
No,
A08.
There's an existing retaining wall here, that's the dry retaining wall, large
Okay.
boulders. And there's an existing retaining wall here, that's also a dry wall. So we're going to remove that natural wall and build new retaining walls with the interlocking blocks that match. All of this wall here is interlocking block. that-
Already?
Yes, been there from years ago when they built the original pool. And then at here, where you see the stairs, currently, the natural, the interlocking block and there's a dry wall that continues, and I'm losing everything here. Microphone's a problem.
I guess it'll be cleaner, but I like the old stone better.
Yeah, well, we can't build a wall that high out of the natural stone, so we have no choice but to replace it. This is all an existing, beautiful, full retaining wall, set. That's all remaining. We're not touching that. That's the best looking wall in the whole club. We're not touching that wall. That's remaining.
And that's made out of the natural stone or the building blocks?
No, this is natural stone.
Okay.
This wall's a natural stone wall. How am I doing so far? I'm thinking about changing careers to architecture from engineering.
And where are the areas that are over 6 feet on the,
This, from this new staircase here to this turn right here, this portion of the wall is approximately 10 feet, I believe, in the new elevation.
that's the wall that creates the access to the tennis without opening the pool, or is that a different area?
No, same area. This wall here currently is a dry wall that's approximately 6 feet high, I guess, somewhat. We're going to replace that wall with a new interlocking wall and then add a set of stairs here, double access to the tennis area while the pool is closed. Because currently, right now, if you want to access the tennis area, you have to walk around the clubhouse, down the parking lot, through the pool area to get to the tennis. There's no access from the main clubhouse. So this will allow access from the main clubhouse.
What's the reason to make it 10 foot?
I'm sorry?
What's the reason why the wall's gonna become 10 feet?
Because it will create a much nicer looking area above here and allow for a viewing area down at the tennis, because right now that area is just a natural berm down that we,
Oh, so you're
every
gonna
year.
So the wall's gonna hold, the grade's gonna be more level?
Correct, and so the whole top area will be grade level, we'll put a fence on it, and then if people watching tennis match stuff, they can go up there and view it from up top. Because the area right now, every season, it's difficult to maintain, it's difficult to maintain with plantings because it's on the slope, and so I said, well, if we're going to do it, let's just do it the right way, let's replace the wall, bite the bullet, and this way, you know, just beautify the area. So that's the reason.
Okay. Any other questions or from the board? So then I'd like to make a motion to open a public hearing for application 22-03, Leeway Country Club. Anyone here have any comments or questions? Then I would like to make a motion to close the application 22-03 for a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty.
Thank you.
So, I think we're all okay. Any
Yeah,
other comments or questions?
I think it's straightforward.
All righty. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Filling in that last
I
moment.
won't back charge him on the grounds he has
I think if
COVID.
you're looking for a change in your remuneration package after tonight's performance.
Possibly. They could double my salary from
Exactly.
0 to 2 times 0.
Exactly.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. So I would like to make a motion to approve application 22-03 to send along to the planning board. Will there-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
good.
much.
Thank
job.
you. All righty, and last but not least, tonight, we have an application 22-04 for 5 Handling Road.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mrs. Chairman, members of the board. Mike Finelli, I'm the architect. Tonight representing Joe and Tony Racine, owners of 5 Handling Road. We're basically proposing an addition to an existing Cape-style home. The plan, as of right now, is to remove the second floor and to add an addition to the rear of the house. And at the same time remodel the garage on the right-hand side of the house. Just some photographs very quickly to just orient you, I guess, with the project. So our proposed house is this one here in the center. It's a total of 23 feet to the ridge. The house is about 1,480 square feet, let's say 1,500. It lives larger than that only because of the Cape style, so all the space in the dormers is usable. So the idea here is to raise the second floor and get full 8-foot height ceilings around the entire second floor of the house. When we do that, we will be at about 27.5 feet to the ridge, so we're raising the house just under 5 feet in total. So the photographs, as you can see, the neighborhood is in flux right now. The home right to our right had a pretty nice addition done to it a few years back. And one of the houses, this one here, right across the street and to the right of our project, was also a Cape and had a pretty significant addition done to this. And it's under construction right now. It's 2 full stories plus it'll be taller than what we're proposing. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm sure we can look them up. That being said, I'll walk through the architecture real quick. So we are basically doing a home which will keep more in style with the homes in Eastchester right now. It's more of a colonial style. We are doing a booth bay blue hardy board siding around the entire house. We're going to do AZEK white trim around all the windows. We are doing traditional white windows, not black, which is very popular right now. We just like the white look better. We are doing a black charcoal roof on the house, and we are doing a Therma-Tru acorn stain color front door. When we had originally proposed the drawings, the garage was to be white as well. After I got back the initial rendering, which I brought tonight to show you guys, I was not happy with it. It just looked too dead. Here are the renderings for the house. Just looked very flat. I did like that it looked like this little jewel off to the side, but I thought it looked a lot better staining the door to match the front door. We do have black fixtures. They're located on the drawings. We will have a pendant light hanging inside of the overhang, so you won't see that from the street. And beyond that, we're going to do bluestone at all the portico, the porch area, and we're stuccoing the base gray. So again, very traditional, very much like what you see just about everywhere else in Eastchester. And the chimney will also be stuccoed gray, just to kind of tie all of the stucco work in. Happy to take any questions.
They're all new windows, right? And new siding?
All new.
And, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, that's the proposed fixture.
Okay, so not the ones that are on the,
No, the renderer took liberties with the
whatever
light
he
fixtures.
had there?
I guess so. But he
Plug and
did
play?
make them black, so they are located there, and they will be more boxy, more square, keep with the cottage style.
Yeah. I had a couple of suggestions.
Sure.
The portico, not to have the siding in the portico, and maybe that becomes AZAC, like the garage, and the white of the garage becomes siding.
So I actually had a rendering done that way. I wasn't crazy about the way it looked up here, only because the trim boards that come down the side,
Yeah, because it looks like the roof should drop another, let's say, foot, but you can't because of the head of the window.
right.
So I think if that becomes trim around all three sides, and then,
Are we talking about the garage?
yeah,
So
above,
we
above
can't-
the header, let's
We
say.
can't do that. I think that's what I'm trying to, the
Right.
point I'm trying to make. There's only 12 inches of actual exposed space.
No, I know that, I'm just talking about above the garage, the.
Portico.
Yeah, no,
the
I-
gable.
The gable.
You want to side this,
Right, and make
Yeah.
that,
white
is
in
that.
here.
And I also think the window above the one in the hallway.
This one
is-
here?
Overpowers the elevation. It should become maybe, let's say, 2 lights smaller, width-wise.
The center one on the gable?
Yeah. which
I
is-
respectfully appreciate your suggestion. The owner wanted as large a window as she can get. She's excited about hanging a chandelier in that space and being able to see it when she pulls up to the house.
And I think also the first floor windows should not be the same size as the second floor windows. They should be taller. Maybe, so let's say, I don't know if they could come down another 6 inches, the sill.
I think that's,
Fortunately, normally a home on the first floor, the windows will be taller than the second level.
yes, if you have more height. When you have a 6'8" height and a 4'6" window, it only leaves you with about 1'8" from the sill to the floor.
Right now, you only have 1'8"?
That's,
So they're all tempered now? Because they have to be tempered then.
no, if they're 20 inches or
24
above.
inches.
20. Jay?
I think it's 24.
Oh, we have 18,
We
20,
have
and
3 numbers,
24.
sold.
We'll look that up.
I mean, look, I can take the recommendations and pass them along, but I don't necessarily see the benefit of making the windows on a house that's only 8-foot first and second floor. If that was a 9-foot first floor, I agree with you 100%. I'd go with a 5-foot tall window, if not a 5'6" window.
Right.
I just think at 8 feet, you're putting the window so far down to the floor. When you put a couch up against there or a piece of furniture, you're in the window now. So I'm not necessarily sold with the making the window taller just
do the
Because it
second
should
floor windows need to be that size for egress?
for egress, 4'6".
Okay.
Yeah,
So they're probably 36 wide then, right? The
Yeah.
double hungs?
36-inch wide,
Right.
4'6" tall. Yeah, 3 or 4 6s.
That's kind of the minimum you can go.
On a double hung.
If you do a double hung, we can do a casement window and go much smaller. You could go 2 foot wide by 3 foot tall, but they want double hungs.
And then,
So just to go back to so I did have siding in the gable end. If you can't bring the siding down the side, it looks really funny just sitting in there. So I stuck with the idea of making that a little jewel, and I think once you stain that garage door, I think it looks nice all on its own. If anything, I would match that gable and make that AZEK as well. But that's a discussion I'm gonna have to have with the owner.
yeah, I think that would still help, making that white.
Well, yeah, it will definitely help.
Yeah.
And what's the depth on the portico?
5 feet.
Okay. It's probably on the plan somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, and how about leaders and gutters on this baby?
They're all white aluminum, OG style, just classic. And they are on the elevations, I believe. Yeah, they're on the elevations.
Yeah, they're on
Is that
the leader.
And there is no dimension on the architectural drawing, but it's on the construction plan.
right there. See?
Yeah, yeah.
Pointed out.
The gutters, but I don't see leaders.
The gutters, yeah. Are they just on one side?
You see leaders?
So typically, the leaders, we run right down the corner boards. So
Okay.
if I can draw them in there, but all you're gonna see is multiple lines. It's not really gonna read properly. But the gutters are
Yeah.
on all of the pitched ends, and the leaders will run right down the corner boards.
It's like, the weird places is where they kind of stick out, like where the, one thing runs into another, kind of I guess by the garage maybe, or something. Will it go like around there or something?
Up in here,
Like here, like what comes down, there would be
Right, so
something coming down here?
typically, they'll come down, hit that roof, and then there's another gutter that is back on this side. That's a little gutter section, and there's another leader that comes down from there. So it's just continuous. And again, because it lines up with the corner board, it's hidden. If it's sitting on the actual siding, it's just gonna look like that corner board is that much wider, because it is white.
And materials are where? Did I,
I brought samples. I
Okay.
don't take pictures, I just bring the physical samples. So booth bathed blue, I can hand them up if you'd like. Just a traditional charcoal roof. Certainteed.
is the garage door a stained fiberglass? Is that what that
It
is?
is. That's a Therma-Tru color, Acorn. So we're going to match gonna stain the garage door as well. It's kind of like a honey cognac kind of color, just to put it in perspective.
Heavy stuff.
You're going with the smooth finish hardy plank?
Yes.
What's the exposure?
I'm sorry?
Exposure.
6 inches. Just try to keep 6 inches all the way around. With the trim, everything seems to line up better. I know 7 is a more traditional number, but it just, I like the way the 6 works out. All the lines kind of come through, so it's a little nicer.
I know this is the back, but
the doors look a little out of place because of no
Where's this?
divided lights on the back door.
The rear of the house?
Yeah, the glass, I guess, I don't know if that goes to a patio or,
Yeah, I didn't have any lights on it. I could easily have lights just come across the top to match that,
kind of looks nicer to
the
me, but.
windows to the side.
I know it's the back, and nobody's going to really see it, but it just kind of, they look a little
Yeah,
out of place.
I just thought it was different than everything else. It's a door versus a
Yeah.
window, so.
It's a
yeah, personal.
preference, really.
Understand.
It's nothing, it's just kind of stuck out at me.
Sure.
And I
Alrighty.
guess on the rear elevation, the gridding on the windows, I guess you have, what sort of, casement windows, but you have gridding on the top? Is that just is that just some sort of a layer that didn't get picked up, or?
No, that was more for the casement windows. I just wanted them to, I didn't want to have a mutton pattern that went halfway through it, so I just wanted it to match that top row, kind of, just speak to the grids, but give you some clear window and opening underneath.
So they're just, it's not like a true divided light, it's just an applied
They're
grid?
simulated. You could get them snapped in, you can order them that way, or they're actually attached, simulated.
Ready for the public hearing?
Yeah.
So I'd like to open up application 22-04, 5 Handling Road for a public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody here? I don't think so. Okay, then I would like to close application 22-04, 5 Handling Road for a public hearing.
Second?
In favor?
Aye.
All righty.
Okay.
If you
So-
would review.
And some things, I'm not sure there was a necessarily consensus, or some things it sounded like the architect wanted to go back to his clients and discuss, but I think understanding the issue with putting the siding in the garage gable and eliminating it in the portico gable sounded like there was going to be a problem doing that, so we talked about eliminating the siding in the portico gable to match the garage gable, correct? So two white, rather than reversing them.
That's
As a
my,
su-
that
as
would
a
be
su-
my preference, to make this white, to match that. Only because I've seen it with the siding just in here, and I know you wouldn't like it, that's why it's not here that way.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the other one was, Silvio had mentioned the size of the window over the gable above the portico, and recommended that that be smaller. He also recommended the first floor windows should be higher, although there was some concern because of the 8-foot ceiling.
Yeah, that I'm gonna stick to my guns on that and kind of keep them like.
Yeah, that's fine, so, and then,
I could probably convince them to go a little narrower with the one over the gable, but I'm gonna stick to the 4'6" on the first floor.
and then Laura just had recommended, if I understood you, Laura, that there be lights adjacent to the window to the left of the rear door, correct? So on the rear elevation, there's the two lights adjacent to the doors, and did you want additional lighting?
Oh, well, I was
That's a
kind of-
comment.
No,
treating that as a whole system, the doors back there. Maybe they are lights and they're not all doors, but.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
For
I
them
was
to have
misunderstood.
something
Not
similar
light,
to.
divider light.
The
Yeah, the
divider
mutton
lights,
bars.
I was misunderstood, okay.
Yeah.
The mutton bars.
That's my suggestion, just to kind of make it fit in with the
I
rest
see,
of the
yes,
facade
yes,
in the
I
back.
misunderstood that. Okay, that was it.
Just one other thing. I'm looking at the site plan. Oops. Is there new mechanicals? Is there new air conditioning
There are
equipment?
already mechanical units that are here. They're sitting back in here, and they're gonna stay there. So we'll We might be adding another
So
AC
they're-
compressor
they're-
to it, so yeah.
They're
I
not
think
on
you're-
this drawing, right?
Yeah, you're right. I should add those to the
Yeah,
drawing.
so if they're there, then I suggest you indicate that, and if they need to be upsized with larger
Sure.
condensers, then I think that's just something that
an
we
oversight on
typically
my part.
ask for, and the planning board are certainly entitled to take a peek at also.
I will add those.
All righty. So I'd like to make a motion to send application 22-04 along to the planning board with a recommendation for approval with the aforementioned comments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty.
Thank you very
good.
much.
Thank you very
Good night,
much,
thank you.
sir.
Here you go.
Have a good night.
Oh, yeah, and Michael, this one as well.
And I would also like to make a motion to close the ARB meeting for February 3rd, 2022.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, Eastchester.